How we doing there, fellow Buick GM fans? If you're unlucky enough to have a key like this, there's going to come a day when you least expect it, or at least want it to. Obviously, so the only way it'll happen is when you go to stick it in the ignition, and you're going to turn a key, and not a dang thing's going to happen. And your security light's going to be on, or your information panel will tell you something about your security key. To wait 4 or 5 minutes, and then try it again, which and it ain't gonna work. So here you got to make sure you always keep this very, very clean. As you see, there's two of the same side there. If you see, there's a thickness to it there. So got to keep it clean with isopropyl alcohol and stuff. Just be careful with it. It's mainly just a resistor, and basically you got to mimic that if you want to get yourself home out of an emergency situation. And you'll see I have my trusty little electronics toolkit there. Got a little bit of everything in there, and then you know, just basically with a calculator, I just figured all of it out. I needed one resistance, ohm resistor of 459, and then three of the 17.7s, two of the 4.6s, which gave me a grand total of 522. That's exactly precisely what this key reads on ohm resistance, right down to the absolute ohm. So it'll be absolutely perfect. There is a forgiveness of 2 to 3, maybe in upwards of 5% uh, percentile of ohm. Like say if it was, you know, 527, I could possibly maybe get away with it, and maybe not. But basically, you gotta mimic that ohms resistance through a series of resistors. So once you do that, uh, then when you're done, you get your total there, which is absolutely perfect. Then you're going to want to solder these connections right here. Just run some solder on them, get some heat shrink tubing there. Then at the very end, you can run some wires, get some 16 gauge wire, and just run a few wires there, one on each end. And then there's a particular place underneath the steering column. Be very careful not to ever mess with the yellow wires, because that's the airbag. So best off to disconnect the battery or pull the fuse for the airbag, which you can use a bunch of fuses on the vehicle. So just so you get an idea, let's see with the vehicle. There's my Buick right there. It's outside in the backyard. So just keep the place under 24/7. So just in case, keep it under lockdown. So anyway, that's the Buick. So it's got to go underneath the steering column, and there's an orange flat wire that you'll see after you disconnected the battery for safety, just so you don't pop off the airbag. Don't ever play with that yellow wire, or it'll probably be the last thing you did. Your airbag is deployed, and your car won't work, and your jack screwed. So that's basically it. You have to. There's other videos that'll show you exactly. You got to cut the orange wire. There's two little white wires inside of it, and then you connect this resistor to the wires that are furthest from the ignition. So you don't want to tie it into the wires that go to the ignition. Obviously, you want to tie it that goes to the anti-theft system. So you want to trick the computer in thinking that it has the correct amount of ohms resistance to start the vehicle. Now each key is different. Just because mine says it's 522 don't mean yours is. It could be in the thousands, could be in the tens of thousands. So it's that's what you gotta test. So you want to make sure that it says ohms right there. There's like this is hundreds of ohms, 522 ohms. If you see a K in front of it, and in front of anything, it'll be 1,000. So if you were to test this right here, and it came up like 12K, so you're in the 12,000s. You're not in the hundreds like I am right there. So it's just something to be sure of. Actually, this fluke meter has a nice little level on it, so it shows you how it goes. So that's pretty much it, guys. The rest you do on your own, but this is just for emergency situation. I wouldn't recommend leaving it like that, because if someone was to really, screwdriver your ignition, they can actually take your vehicle. So that's another thing that the other videos neglect to tell you. So that's something you'd want to do just for emergency situation. You can keep this in the, hidden somewhere, in your vehicle. So what you need is a pair of needle nose and wire strippers and a couple of wire nuts, and it'll get you out of an emergency situation and get you home. Alrighty. Okay, good luck, guys. Hope you never need to use it, but you never know.